So welcome to the afternoon show with myself, Rich McDonald, and the one, the only, thank God, Piers Buckworth.
Hello, mate. Here we are again. Beautiful Tuesday. Ready to delve into this crazy market.
27th of January. So it's 27th of January, but it's also earnings week.
Yep.
So shall we jump straight into the diary that we've got for the week ahead? We were already a little bit of the way through it. So
here we go.
Shall we?
Beautiful, this thing, isn't it?
Where do you want me to go to then? Shall we?
Well, I mean, listen, I can break it down for you. Today, unfortunately, back in the day, companies like Boeing and RTX and UPS, and listen, there's a lot of people who are long these very, RTX, for example, and Boeing, who are almost becoming part of the defense trade. They're important companies, but if you're, depends what you mean by important. If you're long the stock, of course it's important.
Yeah.
It doesn't have any impact on the tape as they used to in the old days. Texas Instruments is the only one that stands out on that one, and Seagate's going to be interesting actually. But so Seagate,
I've never
STX.
did that.
Which one? Seagate.
Yeah, what's that?
So Seagate are the part of this whole situation. Western Digital and Seagate are going on right now. It's a memory.
Right.
Old school, solid state drives. Anyway, the point being is that today is a bit of a nothing, right? We can get excited about all those individual companies. Texas Instruments are obviously old school, industrial semiconductor, analog, nothing to do with AI. Pure, used to be a very clear read. Back in the day when we used to use some of the semiconductors as a read on the economy. One was Micron. We'll talk about that in a minute.
So that's coming up.
And one was Texas Instruments, which is, old industrial semiconductors. So it will be interesting, but it won't move the tape. If we switch to Wednesday.
Okay. Let's go to Wednesday. And just to give you an idea, talking about things coming up later, we are going to be talking about Micron. We're going to be talking about Oracle. There's a story out in Oracle today that's moving the stock. We're going to be covering that. We're going to be covering Japan. The Japanese effect on silver. Is that part of the story? We're going to talk about silver as well. And then, of course, the overall positioning of the QQQs going into earnings season on Wednesday, which Piers is about to take you through now.
Yeah, so Wednesday is quite frankly, from my perspective, in my mind, earnings start tomorrow, right? In terms of the earnings that can move the market.
Yeah.
Why is that? ASML, obviously a critical part of the supply chain. ASML on their own won't move the market because they're actually second derivative. TSMC moves it before that. Nonetheless, that'll be important for the European semiconductor complex. And then, of course, you've got one of the biggest beneficiaries of AI capex below them, GE Vernova, who are a big energy provider and have essentially part of the AI trade. You would have never thought that GE Vernova were part of a momentum tech trade if I'd spoken to you about it 2 years ago. And then, of course, AT&T and Corning, they're irrelevant to the market. And then Lam Research, of course, is the other one, along with ASML in the equipment names. None of those stocks mean anything to the tape, but those two above do. Three above do, actually, but Tesla not even. Tesla, yes and no. Tesla's kind of in its own little basket, but Microsoft and Meta are going to be critical tomorrow night. Two of the largest actually, sorry, those two are now the largest, along with Nvidia, capex spenders, and it'll be about how much are they spending, where are they spending it, who are they giving it to, whether or not they're going to give us an ROI, return on investment, or a time frame, and then of course what their top and bottom is like. It's going to be fascinating, and we need some numbers because it feels like we've had a long time now between real guidance and some real numbers. So it'll be fascinating, and the market has kind of got very emotional about it all, doesn't know what it wants to do with it. Albeit all these names are just creeping back up again if you look at them. A little bit.
Of course, but Tesla doesn't usually report on the same day.
It's a very strange earnings season in many ways because, first of all, Tesla usually goes on its own. I've never once seen it on the same night as Mag 7, the rest of Mag 7. Usually it goes first. It goes Netflix, Tesla, then it goes the big guys. And then you've got an even stranger thing, whereas the next day, you've got Apple reporting on their own.
All alone.
With Caterpillar, and when I say listen, and again, Western Digital, this is going to be a fascinating couple of days for this memory trade, right? So let's remember what the memory trade is. SanDisk, Hynix, Western Digital, Seagate, STX, and of course Micron. Those are the big guys. So it'd be fascinating to hear what Western Digital in particular. This was one of the worst stocks that you could ever come across until about 2 years ago. And now it is nothing can go wrong. SanDisk as well. Look at it on the same day.
Yeah.
So a big couple of days ahead to see whether or not these moves have been justified. So lots and lots and lots of exciting things well, I say exciting, but I mean, to be honest with you, it would be nice to get some numbers to know where we stand in a lot of this stuff.
And then there's, as if that wasn't enough fun for you, for Wednesday night we get the Federal Reserve as well. So a reminder, you get the details out on interest rate changes at 7 p.m. as well as the statement. And at 7:30 that press conference will start with Jerome "Too Late" Powell. Will he defend himself? Will he even speak about the indictment against him, you would call it, or
well, it's actually
investigation?
It's actually an investigation. He hasn't been indicted yet. It's a critical difference between those two things. Yeah.
Do you think he'll mention
it? No, because he's a professional.
He did come out with quite a strong defense.
He's quite punchy though. You know, he's the opposite to Trump in front of the cameras, right? He's very, but he does not. He's not a shrinking violet by any stretch of the imagination. He definitely pushes back where he wants to.
Talk about shrinking violets. Have you been hit by this stomach bug yet?
I haven't had a stomach bug. I've been just generally under the weather for a while. No,
it's going around everybody. Okay. So literally, and it seems very contagious as well. So, you know, make sure you use the hand sanitizer when you're leaving the studio. So anybody, any of you, I'm sure there are some of you at home suffering from that. Anybody that is, then we wish you better. And the good thing is it only lasts a maximum of 48 hours. So...
have you been told to talk about that?
Could probably do
you could do with a bit of a virus.
I'll tell you what, a little quick 48 hours of not eating anything.
Yeah. 72 is the number though. That's the number. Yeah. And then you get the ketones released, and you can start. Yeah, it's really good. I've been it's on my to-do list, that one.
Well, if there's some people in this office that you could just have a chat to, and I think you'd sort yourself out.
Yeah.
But we cannot have you down for the next 3 days, Piers, because it is going to be an absolute bumper. What would you like to? Would you like to? Well,
I mean, there's so many subjects to delve into, but I mean, let me just kind of set the scene in terms of what's going on with my book, and I think that just feeds in nicely to sort of what's going on in the market, right? I mean, there's. If you're managing a portfolio in this market, there's a few different ways of which you can be doing this. You can be, I've got a client, for example, who's up 13% year to date. He's essentially only got gold mining stocks in his portfolio. Wow. He's the kind of guy that thinks that, Nvidia is going to zero and CoreWeave is going to less than zero. No interest in expensive tech. And this is his moment in the sunshine because the free cash flow and the gold miners are finally having their moment. And they're just perfectly trending stocks. They don't get any attention from retail. There's no meme nonsense. They're just cruising along and you're making money. So that's one strategy that's doing well. My strategy, which helps me and also hinders me, is the fact that I have a very high octane trading book with a very open mandate. I can trade intraday, I can trade long term, it doesn't really matter, but I can also trade a lot of the high beta stuff. And at the moment, high beta is very, very, very difficult because it doesn't matter who you are or what you're doing. There's no momentum. There's no consistency to it. It's up and down and up and down. So it's so I've had to cut all of that stuff out of my book, regardless of the fact that there's many names that I've cut that I like. We don't need to go into them. I'd actually want to step back from talking about these high beta stocks for a minute. I want to focus on real companies.
Because if stocks aren't trading in a logical fashion, how on earth do you position yourself?
Well, exactly. I've had to cut all of my risk down, and I might do it more today because, I was talking to a very wise friend of mine who's been doing this for longer than I have, managing money. And, you've just got to, as you well know, you've got to just cut it and take a breath, work out what you're doing, right? If you're, there are certain strategies, and even if you're buying really high quality companies, even if you're long Apple and Google and Bank of America and Goldman and all these things that are rock solid, you're still not making any money, right? You might have made a 3 or 4% in the last week or something, but there's no money to be made there right now. The market's doing that.
I think the clearest analogy would be if any of you go out hiking or walking through a forest, and going back to Blair Witch, show my age there, Blair Witch movie, do you remember that?
Yeah, of course.
So
we're the same age, you keep forgetting that.
Walking through a forest with no compass, no map, no nothing. You just walk it. You think you're going in the right direction, but you could be going way off. And that feels like the market at the moment. It needs those signposts. And the signposts are coming. They're coming tomorrow. They're coming on Thursday. And the Federal Reserve is very much a moment of awakening, and as are these big set of numbers. So I would imagine by the end of the week we'll be operating a lot more, knowing much more, having the data, and operating in a logical fashion.
My only problem is that, and the problem is with this market is that we haven't had a proper drawdown for a long time, which shakes out the weak hands, resets everything, gives you valuation support, and gives you something to work with. We've been literally, and it's as a result of what happened in April. Mm-hmm. It destroyed the market for professionals anyway. Yep. Retail have had a great lot of fun, and good luck to them, and well done. That's great. But if you're running real big money, and the professionals have had a terrible time because they had to cut risk, because that's what you have to do, then they didn't participate, and then they didn't participate, and then it got ridiculous, and now they're participating up here, and they made a little bit here, and now it's just like the market can't continue to, well, it can actually, but it's very painful. It's the pain trade. The pain trade is higher, and it has been higher for quite some time. Why do I say pain trade? Because that's the term given in professional world for the trade that is the most painful to everyone, the one that they do not want. Professionals don't want, most of them, the hedge funds in particular, don't want this market to just keep grinding higher without any form of drawdown. 3
very experienced people, traders, investors, have said to me in the last week, remembering it's the 27th of January, 3 people separately that don't know each other have used the term, I've already used my get out of jail free card for this year, right?
Yeah,
they've been in a really bad position, and they've come good again, or they've had a really good result and been very lucky in closing a position, and then it going 10% against them. Yep.
I fit into that category for sure.
And hi to everybody on the chat there, please. It's a community here, so please chip in, give us your thoughts, what you want us to talk about. Monkey Man saying we should have a talk about UnitedHealth. We'll do that. And Neil, thank you very much, away from the numbers, teaching me exactly what Western Digital and Seagate do there. That's helpful.
Monkey Man and about 20 other people have asked us about UnitedHealth, so why don't we just quickly talk about it?
Go for it.
I mean, listen, guys, UnitedHealth is in the middle of a regulatory hot mess. In terms of, the managed care industry has been turned upside down as a result of the Trump administration and the switching over between them and the Obama administration. And it's so, UnitedHealth used to be one of the top Dow constituents. It was one of the just a perfect momentum trade. It was like Costco, right? It was just that go-to large cap under the radar that just kept grinding higher. And it had a huge sell-off the other day for the regulatory issues. And it hasn't really recovered too much since. It's down again pre-market. I've been in the studio, so I haven't had a chance to look at the news, but the bottom line is the macro on this space is just very difficult. It's very tempting to want to own it. And I totally appreciate it, because that's the way my brain works too, right? It's a large cap quality earnings generator that's cheap, and it's beaten up, it's out of favor, and it's tempting. It's really tempting. But it's also just a bit of a minefield and a bit of a battlefield.
Well, as we see there, look at that.
At the moment.
So Medicare Advantage proposal is disappointing today.
There we go.
With double-digit falls in UnitedHealth, Humana, and CVS, amongst others. Really tough start to the day there. So let's see how that one is trading. Up to date price 16% now.
It's down 16%.
16%.
I mean, there we go, guys. I mean, and I've been asked about 100 times, I reckon, as to what I think about this stock. My only response has been, I do not like managed care, and that's all I've got to say. Why? It's a regulatory minefield, and this is a wonderful example of why.
You'll be in there soon, the way you're going.
I'll be in there soon. Don't you worry about that. She's mine now. But this is the kind of thing you wait for, though. Listen, I've made some mistakes in PayPal and various other things that have got similar feels to them in terms of valuation, but I just hate managed care. I just think it's just a difficult space. But this is going to get oversold. I might have a look at it. Probably a 3-day rule scenario, I would imagine. Similar to Intel, which we need to talk about, by the way.
Yeah, which we'll go on to. Other sets of numbers. RTX. So those of you who play RTX, of course, they're responsible for the Dome in Tel Aviv, up 3.4%. with the Q4 adjusted EPS beating estimates. General Motors up 4.3%. That's topping analyst expectations as well. And then we've got Corning up 6%.
Yeah, they're fiber optics.
Cloudflare,
NET, yep.
12%.
Yep.
On the fourth consecutive session of gains there. So there are some
software, yeah. I mean, there's cyber. The Cloudflare's, by the way, there's a lot of people that ask me about Cloudflare, so why don't I just quickly jump in there? They are one of my favorite companies in the world. They are a cloud-based cybersecurity as well as content delivery network, CDN, which is essentially internet. They along with oh God, the name's escaped me. How often does that happen, Rich? How often does a name It'll come to me in a minute? Anyway, these guys are the only cloud-based CDN in the world, where CDN is how to deliver data faster to its destination. So it speeds up internet process, and it's a critical part. Plus, they're cybersecurity. So they're an incredible company. They're in two critical areas: cybersecurity and content delivery network through the cloud. Now, but sadly, they have just a lot of volatility. It reminds me, they're like CrowdStrike to a degree, right? Where in the fact, although these guys have got two strings to their bow, not one. I love them, but they're also a battleground. You've got to accept the volatility and the price tag as well. It's quite expensive, I think.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at it in the last week or so.
So there's CrowdStrike as well. CrowdStrike up 3%. Just one to look at.
I remembered it. Fastly, Fasly. That's the other content delivery name. They're more hardware though, but they are the two CDN names in the world, both spicy, both exciting. One much better than the other is Cloudflare and Fastly, Fasly.
Talking about spicy, what about CoreWeave? That's had an interesting 24 hours, hasn't it?
Well, they got NVIDIA investing another $2 billion or something in them the other day. CoreWeave have managed to somehow fly under the CDS radar. If you'd asked me 3 months ago, who's going to have a CDS problem, CoreWeave or Oracle, I would have said 100% CoreWeave.
Definitely.
$15 billion worth of, what's the market cap?
I think I looked this up yesterday because I was actually trading them on the back of it. Oh, yeah. Would you say they got away with it?
Right. Market cap, 49 billion. Oh, yeah, okay. Well, listen, they've got $15 billion worth of debt with a $50 billion company. It's not the end of the world, but they have a hugely capital-intensive business. They've had to rack up a lot of debt to do it. I suppose the only difference is that they're in bed with NVIDIA in a massive way.
Yeah, Jensen believes in these guys.
Jensen's got their back, whereas Jensen doesn't have anything to do with Oracle, really. Most of their money comes from TikTok. Yeah. Anyway, it is what it is. I mean, Oracle continues to be a battleground. I don't know why I keep fighting the battle, but it's just one of those things that if the attention is taken off them for one day, they go up 5%, which just goes to show you the appetite to buy this stock.
Right, let's have a look at the portfolio then. It has been, 6 days since we looked at this. I think it's pretty much in the same position, roughly, than where we left it. P&L wise. So we are down 1% in the past couple of weeks. So 2 weeks ago since we put this on. Down 1%. Considering what is going on in silver, I'd almost take that, because the up-to-date position is we are short $27,000 of silver. Against that, I am short puts, right? So remember, you're short stock, which means you lose money as it goes higher. But we're also short puts, which means as it goes higher, you make money from those. So
just to be clear, silver is rolling over, which is not a surprise. I know you disagree with me about this, Rich, but can I just say the facts and support what I'm saying about this? The only thing that we have left to fall back on, and it's worked every time, is when the RSI gets to 85.
69% of the time.
85. You're ignoring me because you want to ignore me, but 85 RSI, they get hit every time, and it resets itself, and then it's anyone's business. But
what do you think I disagree with you on here?
But the fact that the RSI, you said to me a number of times, the RSI is irrelevant in a situation like this, but it actually isn't.
No, now it is. I agree.
Okay, great. Well, that's if he agrees with me, by the way, on anything,
we are in business. So it's true. It's true. As you can see, originally I put a 0.05 position on silver. I am now 0.5. So we've taken it from $3,000 to $30,000 basically. So that was fun yesterday. And
just I'm actually shorting another 5,000 shares of Pan American Silver. I did 5,000 earlier, just a pre-market sale. I've got 10 minutes to the open, but I'm going to get it done now.
So expectation-wise, I am expecting this to go back to something like $95 in the next week. I'm then expecting it to go down to about $85 in the next month. That is the way the book is set up. I'm short silver, but I'm also short puts, which means I have to buy it as it gets down to those levels, which closes the short. And actually, I'm risking going long at about the $80 level. But we'll worry about that when it comes to it, because in the meantime, if everything goes wrong and silver continues to go higher, I receive the premium, and the premium will cover my losses. That's why we're set up that way. But a little bit dangerous, because if it drops 30%, I'm in a lot of trouble.
I think
way too many people short.
I think there's one point that we need to make about silver, guys. Beyond the fact that unless you know exactly what you're doing, which none of us do really, quite frankly, in this situation.
Oh, God, no. Nobody knows what they're doing.
No one knows what's going on in silver, trust me. But there's one thing, in my opinion, based on the observation of what's going on, is that if you're going to trade it, set your stops up, but trade it intraday. Right? If it's overbought up to 85 RSI, there's a high percentage chance it's going to sell off during the day. But do not leave that overnight. If you want to, it's a different game, right? The only thing that's being respected is intraday selling and an RSI. But then again, it could collapse tonight. And ultimately, do we want to be trading against something that we've got no idea what's going on?
A reminder: we are running a portfolio of £100,000 here. And the max that I can lose on silver now, because I've got guaranteed stops, right? Guaranteed stops on IG. That shows the little G here. That means they're guaranteed. I cannot lose more than where, as much as I lose as it gets to the stop, right? So I'm risking probably about $5,000, which is big. That's 5% of the whole portfolio. But at the same time, I would make money on the puts. So enough of that one. Let's go on to Micron. Piers, I'm still short 25 shares.
Yep.
I was short 50. I've been playing the volatility, selling at 400, buying back at 380. Selling at 400, buying back at 380. That's taken in a bit of cash, but at the moment, we're short 25. What do you think of them at 406?
So I think Micron, we need to talk about it again. And listen, it's becoming painful talking about it, but it doesn't mean that we're any less correct when it comes to the rationale here. Now, the rationale today has got a whole new aspect to it. So yesterday, Micron was down for two reasons. One, it was exhausted to the upside, but two, Samsung won a critical deal with NVIDIA, which, the implication, the read across is that if Samsung get the memory deal from NVIDIA, then it's less money for Micron. So that was down, closed down 2.6% on the lows. Wake up today and we've got news that they've invested $24 billion in a new production plant in Singapore. Now, if you're a professional and you read that news, you read, last week they said to us that they were being very wary of increasing production because they've seen this movie before, and they're a very cyclical business, and they're scared that they'll just end the cycle by ramping up production, and they'll end up back where they started, which is exactly what's happened every other time that there's been a ramp in DRAM prices. Today we wake up, they've just invested $24 billion in a production plant in Singapore, which is precisely for that reason, to increase production and therefore increase supply and therefore put downward pressure on prices. The retail crowd or whoever the hell's buying this stock, I would imagine they bought the dip last night with 0-day options, and the dealers have had to cover their position to a degree. But anyone who's buying the stock because they see them investing $24 billion in a plant in Singapore is not, first of all, that's less profit and lower prices. So that's the implication. But the problem is that thinking too much, putting an intelligent mind to these stuff, is more often than not in these momentum situations a hindrance rather than a help. So but nonetheless, we open up 4.5% today in Micron, no doubt. And then, of course, we're what, $50 ahead of all the price targets, and the news today's been misunderstood. It's madness, mate. Madness.
Okay, I will go in to sell another 25 shares, then doubling the position, so it's about $10,000 at 411.4. 411.4 sell, another 25. As I say, just trading around, trying to play the volatility. So we'll put that limit order in here. As you can see, the stop takes me up to $435 limit. So I would buy it back if it gets to 382. That would make $700 of profit. And that is in there.
Excuse me.
So we've got 4 minutes before the open. Shall we cover Oracle?
Excuse me.
Once you've
Wow.
stopped passing on that stomach bug.
Yeah.
You better not have it. If you give me that, I will not be happy.
I don't have a stomach bug. Right, here we go. So we've got a few minutes to the open. There's some strange moves going on. Netflix. Have we still got Netflix in the book?
We do. Yeah, let's go back to see what our position in Netflix is. We are long 100 shares from the wrong level, so we're down $250 in that. However, we're also short those $80 puts, which has paid us $500.
Wow.
So we're actually net up
Look at that.
240.
You love that.
Love it.
That's fair enough. Look at that.
So that's been lucky, I would say.
Yeah, that has been a bit lucky. Netflix is having a very tough time at the moment. It's trying to find its feet. And the reason for that is, I think we've discussed a number of times. But, you know, it's one of these things, it's a bit strange. If you saw that bid that came in at 83, what was that price?
Yeah, 83.50.
So there's obviously a bid there, but it's drifting a bit at the moment. But we'll see. It's one of these ones. It's come off the boil a bit. I don't love Netflix that much. It's just a bit of an oversold trade for me.
I'd happily close both of those today, knowing that we got it wrong, but we still made a bit of money out of it. Happy days.
Yeah, fine. Let's take it off, mate.
Right. Oracle.
Keep it in my book, though.
The Oracle talking on Oracle.
Okay. Oh, I'm just so happy to see.
You didn't understand I was talking about you.
I did. It's exactly. Whenever I hear you talking about the Oracle, there we go. So Oracle is just such a pain in the ass. I mean, come on. The most incredible thing about this stock, and let's just put this in perspective, guys, is that this is one of the best companies in the world who have completely and utterly destroyed their balance sheet. And its market is, and the price action represents this perfectly. Part of the market is like, it's Oracle. It's down massive. We have to buy them. The other part is saying this has a health warning. They have problems. TD Cowen wrote a note about an hour and a half ago. The stock was up 1.5% at that moment.
This is what's moving it today, right?
This is what's moving the stock today. It was up 1.82% on the high, and now it's down to 1.7, 1.8% pre-market. And why is that? Because TD Cowen came out with a note saying that these guys have credit problems. We all know that. They went further into detail. And by the way, this is an analyst note, and therefore not official news. This is their opinion of what's going on, saying that they're requesting 40% deposits from their customers, and some banks had stepped back on lending. So it's blah, blah, blah. We've got more credit problems.
If it was true, that's a horrible story.
If this is true, it does not. Well, there's two ways of thinking of it. One is that then the 40% deposit gives them quite a nice cushion. Two is the customers might not like that 40% deposit thing.
Yeah.
There's no new news on the balance sheet. We know that.
No.
So it's just down to the customers and how they deal with it.
The banks pulling back.
The banks stepping back on funding sounds very noisy to me. That.
Yeah.
So bearing in mind these brokers have got to sell research notes. So, I mean, Larry Ellison's got. I'm not worried about him getting funding, but I am worried about their customers saying we don't want to pay 40% deposit.
If Netflix end up getting Warner Brothers, Oracle could go up on that.
Yeah, maybe, potentially, maybe. I've got a very small position, thank God, but it's just tiring. There's a lot of fights going on at the moment in my world, and.
Right.
Well,
yes,
but the market,
it's just too hard. That's
the point. The market's too hard right now. Right.
Get the risk down. 45 seconds before the open, we've got Alina Koshman saying Oracle is like dating peers. You buy them thinking this time it's different.
Oracle's like a toxic boyfriend.
Sorry. I can't see the screen properly.
Oh dear, that's actually quite good.
Right, what are we going to be looking at for the open then?
Well, let's see, shall we? I'm just hoping that, so listen, the word hope's not something I want to be using very too often. Let's see, I'll let it all open up a bit, mate. I mean,
I'm amazed you're not long UnitedHealth. Right, let's have a look then, because we've got 5 seconds until we ring that opening bell.
Intel's my focus, actually, mate. Here we go.
27th of January. Let's get those prices up, see what's moving. It's General Motors is the winner of the day, up 5%. Micron only up 3. Piers called it. He says 4.5 too much. What is this doing? Up 4%. Who knows? But it is pulling back.
Oh, a little bit. We'll see. It's just the
Still.
open.
Intel.
Intel.
Up 3. Didn't cover that.
Intel. I bought 10,000 shares pre-market. This stock is a classic example of the 3-day rule working. Of course, 3-day rule is as follows. If there's a company that you like and you want to buy, but you're waiting for a sell-off, or opportunistically, you see a stock that you like, that you see a news report and it's down 20, 30%, and there's a certain type of thing. It's a gap down, it's a massive move, but it's a company you like and the company you got your eye on, you can almost guarantee when you see price action like that, that it'll go down the next day and the next day, sometimes the next day as well. But that 3-day rule has an uncanny way of working. And of course, we got the news today. It's not news, by the way, guys, but it is interesting that Apple might be using them for their foundry. We already heard news that was to that effect a couple of months ago.
It's reassuring.
It's reassuring. It's
they
kind
needed
of,
it.
but yeah, exactly. So Intel's going to be hopefully my saving grace. Oh God.
You just looked at Micron, didn't you?
Yeah, it's just it's
Micron trading 410, 411. Remember, we're in to sell them at 411.40. Almost got there. But let's see if it gets back up. UnitedHealth on the downside, down 15. Sorry if you're in that one. Boeing down 3% on the back of numbers, 240. Back down there. Boeing down 7.77. 7.87.
what are we talking about? Boeing.
Boeing down 787 basis points.
Okay, there we go. It was 2 and 2 point. Yeah, no, I'm just trying to work out why you're mentioning it. Oh yeah, 787. Got you, mate. Cool. That's a classic joke. Phew.
Oracle only down 1.8.
So funny.
Terrible day.
So good.
American Express down 1. American Airlines down 1. Not too much.
Yeah, Intel's my grinder today. I'm try that. I'm gonna get so
I don't
hopefully
think you quite meant that the way it came out, did it?
grind this up a little bit until it. Well, see, there we go. She's already moving. So let's see if we can get this to go up 6% today. That would be helpful, so Pound American Silver is working nicely. Let's continue that, shall we?
Just on some of the smaller names, we've got Alcoa up 3, Snowflake up 2, Alibaba up 2. Haven't looked at that for a while, actually. We should have a look at that at some point in the future. Reddit down 5. Reddit having a bad day.
Yep.
I think they've had some, was it numbers or news?
Oracle.
I think it was numbers.
God, it's so boring. It's so boring.
Right, let's have a look at the rest of this open then. So the US 500, the S&P, that is, in layman's terms, 69.64. Is it going to hit 7,000 soon, Piers Buckworth?
Well, yeah. I mean, listen. The S&P is obviously heavily weighted in tech as well. So, I mean, what happens to one? Well, the NASDAQ moves it. So, listen, the NASDAQ, the big mega caps are sitting here looking dangerously poised to move higher, if you ask me. Am I going to take a punt on them into earnings? Probably not. But would I bet against them at least 3 or 4 of beating them handsomely and being de-risked, and the RSIs being nicely down on the lows and ready to move to the upside and move that index back to the highs, the S&P, sorry, the NASDAQ? I wouldn't bet against that. So, but then again, I trying to punt anything during earnings season is an absolutely ridiculous
Very dangerous playing anything over earnings.
Not a fun thing to be doing.
Where do we think this NASDAQ could go then? Because, wow, is that the highs? God, try to get the screen. Yeah, is that right? Where do you think NASDAQ can go?
I don't like these charts you bring up for me. They just don't look like the ones that I've got. I've got really lovely Bloomberg.
There you go.
There we go. There we go. That's a much better chart. Perfect.
There you go. Thank you.
Right. Okay. So That's a much better chart. So look at that level, ladies and gentlemen. This is critical level where it's hugging onto it, and it will continue to do so, I would imagine, unless we get some macro event between now and tomorrow night when we hear from Microsoft and Meta, who are going to move that tape one way or another.
Could definitely go to new all-time highs.
It wouldn't surprise me. Listen, this is a classic example of the bases being loaded for the NASDAQ, right? I've seen it so many times before. And sure, we might get a bad guidance from one of them. It might sell off, but it looks dangerously poised to do the opposite to me. But then again, I'm not taking any position into these earnings because I just refuse to do so.
Well, if you don't want to take a position, sometimes it is an idea to just spend a little bit of premium on the options world, and we can look at expiry this Friday, which is the 30th of January. Last trading day of Enero, and for the NASDAQ to reach new all-time highs would cost you 54 points. It's not bad, is it? 20 basis points for us to go to new highs.
Yeah, insanity, mate.
That seems like great value. I might have to have a bit.
Yeah, I mean, listen, Rich, you're the genius in the options world.
We'll take a break in a minute, and I'm just going to have a look to see if there's any value there. I might look at something like the 26,000 to the 26,300, something along those lines. That would cost me 50 points as well, and then, but that definitely seems like there's value there.
Yeah.
Considering what happens between now and Friday night.
I like it. It's a nice low stress, low.
Exactly. I spent $250 on that. I know what my downside is, and if we do get an up 3%, then you're really sort of making that $1,200, $1,500 for an outlay of $250, which is the kind of upside we like.
Not the end of the world. Okay, good. My other position, of course, is GDX, which I have a short in. Which
the gold miners.
I do not trade the physical. I refuse to do so. Gold miners are a different kettle of fish, although they've been acting as if they're not, but they are. Rich made a very, very uncharacteristically smart comment in my chat room the other day, talking about how mining companies are priced on future prices, not the price today, and therefore. And I actually, funnily enough, weirdly, just to be crystal clear, was a mining analyst for the first 2 years of my career, so I've got a rough idea what I'm talking about. And
you're Australian, which just means you know mining.
I know everything about mining. No, but I used to do these models, right? And you're quite right. The reason why the mining companies don't move with the physical because they're priced way out. But now everyone's jumped in on the bandwagon and got excited about this, and with good reason, by the way. The free cash flow being generated by these companies is extraordinary. But we've got a little bit much. Pan American Silver has been upgraded 3 times in the last 2 weeks, and the most they can come up with is 68. So that's why I'm just trying to play and there we go. It'd be really nice if that continued down.
The stock we were talking about, yes. Oh, look at it. Now,
what's going on here, though, by the way? This market's actually, oh dear.
We were talking about Fresnillo yesterday, and somebody in your chat actually had a position as well. Well done for having that position. But as you can see, it peaked, and it peaked yesterday, and it's now down 4.7% today, despite silver being at the same price. This is because people start to fade the move, because last night's ridiculous move between 6 and 7 p.m. in silver, that was an example of what can happen. And suddenly, we're talking, this thing's got to sell silver at these prices for the next 10 years. And it can't even stay there for more than a day. Of course, silver up 14% and back down 14% in a straight line. So you just have to take stock of that a little bit, and you look at these mining companies that have gone up 400% in the last 12 months, and it never hurts to take profit. Piers, are we going to go to a quick 2-minute break and then we'll come back for?
Yeah, I'm gonna participate in Micron again, and I'm gonna short 1,000 shares. I'm gonna do 500 now and 500 in a bit.
Where are they now?
403.34.
Micron's dropped $8.
What are you talking about? Micron's trading at 404.34.
Yeah, but it traded at 410. I don't know if you noticed.
Oh, on the open, yeah, right.
Ah, we didn't get done. What? That is so frustrating. I was too greedy with that.
Guys, everyone, just before we go to break, I just want to point out like how difficult this market is, and unless you're trading the 5 or maybe 10, not even that. Actually, it's boiled down to like 5 now. Proper momentum stories, which are retail meme type scenarios. Nothing else has any consistent price action at all. Nothing. It's up and down, up and down. No one can. It's completely and utterly random. Anyway,
should I not be done in that? 411.58. It traded 411.58. Where did I put the limit in Micron?
I don't know, mate.
Orders. Where's my orders? I might have to go and have a word with a. There it is. Yeah, 411.4. Look at that. What's the high of the day? I'm going to have a little bit of a checking query on that one. Ooh, that would be nice, wouldn't it? That'd be a quick free $240.
Right, should we take a little break?
Loxy man who managed to get filled on Micron just below 411. Beautiful.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Well done. Well, so far, so good, Loxy.
Yeah.
Right, yeah, we'll take a quick 2 minutes and we'll be back. What you got coming up, Piers?
We'll see. Keep it a surprise.
Keep it a surprise. We'll see you in 2 minutes.
here, mate.
All right, we are back. So I tell you what, the perfect trade from Loxy there. Loxy managed to knock out just below 411, bought it back at 402 in about 8 minutes.
Yeah, and by the way, that's a really great example, opportunity for us to talk about a mini trading strategy that I've witnessed so many times in the US market. That's for those of you who are nimble enough to get in and out of trades. If you see a stock that's in particularly one that's in an overbought situation, even when it's not in an overbought situation and it's just up a lot, you can, I reckon, as high as 85% of the time, the first 10 minutes or even the first 5 minutes, you'll see that stock come back. No matter how well that day is going to go for that stock, it will come back. If you see something up 6, 7, 8%, especially if there's no particular news, just if you can fade that move if you're nimble enough to do it.
Right, we were talking about Netflix then. They are down at 84.07. Nah, not great, but then look, like we said, the P&L, we've made, yeah, just, so we've lost about $60 in that. I'm going to close both.
Fine, mate.
Just checking the spread
the
on
wrong
that.
vibe.
96.108. Yeah, we are.
Moderna, by the way. You've got to be so careful with this thing. I shorted it for just an overbought trade, right? No bid for 3 days, 16% off the high, bang, up again. Short squeeze.
PayPal, are we holding that?
Yeah, I think
55.90.
I cut mine in half.
It's still a pile of shit,
It's
isn't
just
it?
so awful. Listen, it is a pile of shit, but we know that. But it's, you know, it's. I get asked these questions like, there's a reason why it's there. It's not there because it's hot now. It's there because it's an undervalued stock and I'm willing to wait, right? I mean, you and I have got enough history together to know that I've waited and waited on loads of these things, and you know, there's usually method to my madness here. Admittedly, it's taking a long time and it's frustrating, but I'm not getting frustrated. It's just, it's half a position. It's in my book. It sits over there and it doesn't bother me that it's not working.
Yeah.
If it bothers you or anyone else, get rid of it.
Well, they're clearly going to profit warn because that's what the price is telling you, and then that's when we come in and we buy another 200. So we got 100 at 56.5, and then we probably looking to buy 200 at 51, something like that. The other saving grace has been in this AMD. So I'm short the AMD calls. That means I am saying I don't think AMD will get to 270 by Friday. This Friday. I'm still surprised that's at $1.08. So that's we've made a nice $700 in that. Chances AMD 270 by Friday.
Where are we now?
What could we get in this in the 252? What could we get in the results from the?
By the way, AMD's numbers are next Tuesday, along with Pfizer on the same night. So AMD and Pfizer, again, I've never seen that before, ever. The earnings season this year is all around the shop.
I'm going to buy one of those back.
Fine.
Right, I'm short 3, which is 300
So you're
shares.
short AMD?
No, I'm short calls.
Short calls, sorry, got you, yeah.
So as long as it finishes the week below 270, we're good.
Okay.
Crypto is yet again so heavy.
It is heavy because it's just the ultimate leverage trade, which has become unwound. Imagine that if that happened to silver, that'd be interesting, wouldn't it? The only difference is that silver's a real thing. Don't get me started on this.
Bitcoin's real. What are you talking about?
Yeah, is it? Okay, mate. Do you use them in your life? When was the last time you paid for something with Bitcoin?
Down in New Zealand, we were doing it quite a lot, actually.
Okay.
I was the first ever employee in the whole of New Zealand to get paid in Bitcoin.
Okay. That's a shame. You got paid in a currency which is devalued by 40% over the last couple of months.
It was 2021.
No, I'm just saying, right? It's not a real thing. It's until it's. I mean, the tether stuff, that's real, right? Stuff that's tethered to the US dollar and the stable coins, that's a real thing. Mm-hmm. You can't call Bitcoin a currency that can devalue by 40% in a week. That's not a thing.
Yeah, let's do a poll. Let's hear from
Yeah, but none of this
you.
it's just
Is Bitcoin a real thing? Is that, do you want that?
Of course, it's a real thing. I'm just saying it's not digital gold. Okay, that was the massive retail argument. Digital gold. It's definitely not digital gold, right? We've established
What is Bitcoin? That's the question. The answers are going to be digital gold. Go on, Piers.
Oh, sorry.
Digital gold.
The answers will be digital gold. The future of money, currency.
Yeah.
The answer, the solution to fiat currency.
Or punting around for fun.
Or just punting. Yeah. What are those? Go for it. Digital silver. I'll do the jokes, pal.
That's Ethereum. Right. What about currencies then? We have not yet talked about the yen of the Japanese.
Well, let's talk about that's a real thing. Should we do that?
That is a real currency.
Shorting 500 Micron here. And
where are they now?
Waiting till later at the 406.68. Pan American silver might save my bacon today. Right, so let's talk about Japan, shall we, Richie Rich? Number one is, I've spoken at length about the whole Japanese story with you on social media, for anyone who will listen to me, because I learned from the best and I love this subject and I know how important it is. And I'll just stress that understanding the Japanese macro situation is everything. It's everything if you want to know what the engine room of markets really looks like and how it operates. You can ignore it for most of the time, and most of the time it doesn't raise its head and cause any problems in markets. But by God, when it does, you need to know what's going on. Okay, so what's going on at the moment is actually really interesting. A couple of things I haven't seen before. Number one is the US saying that they're going to help the Japanese revalue their currency. I've never heard them say that before, which has got implications for the US dollar, of course, which is already under pressure. So we saw that trade on Monday when we woke up to that news. But this morning, so let's look at this intervention, this chart here. So far, all we've had is verbal intervention. Now, I've seen from the Bank of Japan, God knows how many times. It has a small impact, but it only has that kind of impact. And we haven't even started yet, by the way. This could get more aggressive if they actually are intervening. Now,
or if more than just them.
It could be them and the US, and it could be being done gently. It would probably be being done gently. But that price action indicates to me that there's intervention going on, because they hit every rally and they've got a lot of power to do it. Now, the only thing about this is it can be violent, it can be sharp, it can be quick, but it never works in the long run, because look at what they're doing in the same breath this morning. The GPIF, the Government Pension Investment Fund, GPIF, which is the second most important. So in the world of pension funds, you've got the Norwegian pension funds. We all know about that. It's over $1 trillion. They're max long, mag 7. But they've got no bonds, and therefore they're not that relevant when it comes to the real market stuff that we care about. The Japanese have $1.2 trillion worth of treasuries, and 400 billion of that is in the GPIF. Now, the GPIF said apparently overnight, to whoever it may be, I forget who it was, that they are considering repatriating some funds. In other words, selling their foreign bond holdings, which of course includes the majority of that is treasuries, and buying their own bond market for the first time in 25 bloody years, because the yields have got high enough for it to be mildly attractive. So, and also the bond market in Japan has been crashing over the last few weeks because the long end has been pushing higher. We've also got a very fiscally aggressive new government, so there's a lot going on under the hood.
Is that a word? Fiscally?
Fiscally aggressive. That's 100% a word. So the outcome here, let's assume for argument's sake that they dumped a whole bunch of... Bearing in mind, the Japanese and the Americans are mates. They're not. There's no war going on there. They respect each other. They hold each other. They're in bed with each other. They're friends. So there's not going to be any aggression. It's not like the Chinese saying we're going to dump all your treasuries to push your rates up. This will be done smoothly and carefully. But if it is done, in theory, it pushes up US Treasury yields, pushes down JGB yields, which exaggerates the interest rate differential for the dollar yen.
Let's take that slower, because it's a really important point, and I'm looking around for something to use.
Yeah.
Here we go. Right. Coca-Cola, American yields, Highland Spring, not sponsored. You can use any drinks, but Highland Spring Japanese yields. So Japanese yields are currently here, and American yields are here. Right, Piers, walk me through. What would happen if that was the case?
Okay, so let's assume for argument's sake that the GPIF decides to sell treasuries in order to buy their own bonds in order to stabilize their bond market. What does that mean? They sell, which is the US Treasury one?
That's US Treasury.
That's US Treasury. They sell US Treasuries, which means the price of the Treasury bond goes down and the yield on that bond goes up. So we'll just do, this is Treasury yields he's got here right now. So Treasury yields in the US go up, Treasury yields in Japan go down because they're buying the bond market.
Steeper.
So that means that the interest rate differential, which I talk about all the time, which is the difference between the US, let's just use the 10-year rate for argument's sake, because that's the one we're talking about here. US Treasury 10-year rate, Japanese JGB 10-year rate. The difference between those two rates is the reason why the dollar yen is trading where it is. Now, what are they trying to do? They're trying to get the Americans to help them revalue their yen to make it stronger. And they're intervening, I think, in the market. We'll find out after the fact. In the background, we've got the most powerful. It's like someone pulling you, like a tug of war, pulling it here, and on the other side, you're trying to combat it. So it's a very, very difficult situation.
And of course,
fascinating.
The basic thing is, of course, your currency
so retarded.
goes stronger. Your currency goes stronger the higher your interest rates are relative to the rest of the world or the currency pair that you're looking at. Suddenly, if American yields go up to 5% from the current 4.25, people will start to buy more dollars, because on a dollar you then earn 5%. Versus on the Japanese 10-year, you might only earn 3%. So suddenly there's that big differential, and you can make money there, make a return.
So
what's
silver,
the consequence of that?
So look at this, though. It's really interesting. So let me stress, guys, that this is the reason why I love talking about this is because it's you know, it's the highest end of understanding how markets work, and it's great to know it, because if you know it, it just makes you feel good because you know what you're doing for a change, right? And when it's important, and when it's not, it's not. But it's such a critical part of the puzzle, because we haven't had a macro shock of any description for a very long time. And the markets, and that's one, and I'm sorry to say, I wish we would have one, so that we can shake out all this speculative crap and start again and have a market that we can get our teeth into. Every single professional in the world wants this same thing, which is part of the reason why it's not happening. And in the meantime, they're just going to continue pushing markets higher and higher and higher.
What if some of the viewers are long that speculative shit?
Well, this is the...
Like, as in, what's the danger
fine.
that they need to realize what could happen?
Listen, this the only thing that's going to ruin the party for the long duration, in other words, all the growth stuff that everyone's obsessed with, that's great. But if Treasury yields rip through 5 at a certain, 5 will be a psychological number, but it'll be the speed of the move, right? What are we now? 4.25 or whatever it is.
Exactly what we are. You can find this on CNBC/bonds, right? CNBC/bonds. There we are. Markets, bonds, and then go down to US Treasuries. 10-year, 4.223. If that went up to 5, there'd be some serious problems.
And guys, let me be clear. 5 as an absolute number is not a massive deal. Historically, we've had interest rates in America up around 15, 16, 17%. Obviously, that would not work in today's market. But it's all about the speed of the move. If you, I look forward to when this next happens. I hope it, because it's a really great learning experience. If you watch how quickly it can move, and then you watch what happens to bond market, currency market, equity market, and it's just worth keeping an eye on. Listen, this may fizzle out and be nothing. They may gently sell a few treasuries and gently buy some JGBs and massage this through. Who knows? But there's some interesting stuff going on at a macro level, I think. And I tell you what will cause a problem, and that's why I just always bang on about the word inflation, right? Inflation at the moment is under control in America to a degree. In Japan, it's ticking up. It's causing a little bit of a problem. If we see an inflation spike, which, by the way, if Trump, let's assume for argument's sake that Trump managed to get his new Fed chair to cut rates to 1%, which is so laughable that I feel crazy even saying those words, but let's assume that happened. Inflation would be the result of that.
Yeah,
Right?
without doubt. And that's why gold and silver are moving like they are.
That's another
That's
reason.
why the dollar's moving like it is, because the probabilities are changing all the time on who that Fed chair is going to be. It's not even a Kevin anymore that's expected. It was definitely going to be a Kevin. Now it's not even a Kevin.
Yeah, no, he's taking that away, I think, isn't he?
The risks of inflation are changing. What have we got coming up tomorrow? Tomorrow night? Yeah, tomorrow night in the Fed. We'll go into bigger detail tomorrow about the FOMC. But as you can see on screen at the moment, the probabilities are 97%. So it is not going to change, right? The rates are not going to change tomorrow. But what are the expectations for a March cut? Well, they're only 13%. So we're not seeing any change. Jerome Powell is saying, oh, I'm done. I'm not even arguing with him anymore. I'm just not going to cut rates. We've got April. It's still 72% chance of rates being exactly where they are. And it's not until that new Fed chair in June that you get the probability of a rate cut.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, by the way, this silver's starting to come off nicely. Have we still got some of that?
We are short.
Oh, good. It's come off. I mean, my Pan American silver's starting to look quite good, actually. I might have to cover this thing again soon. I don't trust it very much.
What's going on in silver when you see moves? People need to understand what CTAs are and what momentum feels like. What is the JIP, as we would say in the old days? What's going on with intraday moves when you see them moving like they did yesterday?
Yeah, so in which instrument? What, in silver, for example?
Yeah, in that silver move yesterday that you see from 2:30, precisely as the US market opened, silver was at 109 and it went up in an absolute straight line.
So yesterday was, I mean, you and I spoke about it on the phone. It was an acceleration of the broken market, right? It was just an absolute. I mean, who knows what happened? Who knows whether that was retail just getting massively long, very short dated.
It was definitely CTAs, because if you watch the ticks, tick by tick by tick, it was just forcing it higher.
Or if it was the CTAs, then the algorithms are machines, right? They're chasing the momentum until it ends, and then they chase it on the way down. And there's so much going on here, mate. It's crazy, but. I tell you something that yesterday and again today, we got shown that RSI matters. 85 RSI, whack. 85 RSI, whack.
Let's put that on.
Same again.
So on the IG platform, you can get up such things as RSI. There it is at the bottom there. You can see, if I take that back to the daily chart, you can see we're currently at 78. So 78 on the RSI. On silver, I'll take that down to 3 hours. Yeah. Oh, look at that. What's this? Argent au comptant. Is that silver? Interesting.
No idea, mate.
Argent au comptant. Never seen that before. But there we go on the 3-hour chart. So as I said, as long as silver stays above 95, the end of this week, and above 85 the end of the month, then we get all the money in from those puts, and we end up making quite a nice amount from those premiums. And the short, we just need silver not to go up more than sort of 115.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, listen, it's interesting, but I think that the only thing we can fall back on at the moment is what I've been saying. Right, silver's running into some headwinds from a technical perspective, and you know what? Listen, at the end of the day, part of this story is broken, right? The Chinese export ban and the inventory problem. Those could be fixed tomorrow morning. They're not market problems, right? The market is buyers and is supply and demand, right? The supply and demand is being artificially interrupted by those two major things. And then, of course, you've got Indian jewelry and solar panels and Samsung and all this stuff over here. That's legitimate stuff. But the only thing that my major issue is that if Trump, just for example, right, he hates commodity prices ripping. Doesn't matter what they are. These are now this is an important industrial metal into loads of next generation technologies. He doesn't want this going higher. He doesn't want copper going higher either, for that matter. Certainly doesn't want oil going higher. At what point does he just go say to President Xi, perhaps we should take these export ban off, and then the price dumps?
Yeah.
Please do that.
We don't talk about the UK stocks, but we've of course got a position in Diageo. So let's take a really quick look what's happening in the FTSE today. NatWest up 2.7, Kingfisher up 2.6, HSBC doing well, Whitbread, but the banks, generally the banks and insurers doing well, as is BAE Systems. BAE Systems above 20 quid. On the downside, we've got Fresnillo down 6% now. As we talked about yesterday, down 6% on Fresnillo. Somebody is pressing that button, get me out. Entain and Flutter, the...
Dollar yen, mate. Dollar yen is under a lot of pressure. Interesting.
Relics dropping away, and Antofagasta. Oh, Diageo down 2%.
Yeah. I cut half my position the other day, by the way. I'm just risk management. Also, listen, Diageo is boring the pants off me too, guys. Listen, I think the same things that you're thinking, but I cut it in half.
Too early.
It's just a little bit early, right? But there's a very tight range that's being traded here, right? It's a 6 or 7% range. I cut half of my position in the money, and I've reduced the risk significantly, so I don't care that much about what's going on today.
Noise.
All good.
And then finally, before we go, if you'd be very good to give us a like on the YouTube, give us a thumbs up, give us a like. If you're not subscribed, then give us a subscribe as well. That would be gratefully appreciated. And you can see on screen there, we've got GM, Micron still going, Moderna up 3, and Intel up 3.
It's all a bit nothing. Hang on, General Motors, they reported earnings, did they? I haven't had a chance to look at them.
UnitedHealth down 19.
Holy wow! I mean, I really hope not. I hope none of you guys went off piste and bought UnitedHealth. Good Lord, that is just such a great example of the regulatory overhang that can be in a market. That's a big move for this stock.
It really is.
Big move, dangerous move. But again, the moves in the market these days, they're just not what they used to be, mate. It's all exaggerated options and nonsense. But yeah, I'm going to have a look at that later on today. It could be approaching a tradable dip.
Daniel, thank you very much for those translations for me in gold. And then final trade we're going to do is... Actually, shall we do it tomorrow? There's nothing out until tomorrow, is there?
Nothing important.
Right. We'll put on a NASDAQ trade tomorrow for a call option on the NASDAQ over the numbers. We'll just let the time value come out a little bit. Thanks very much for joining us. Piers?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Apex. Thank you, IG. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, bull boys, linesmen. We're ready for tomorrow.
Are you excited for tomorrow?
Yeah, kind of. Not really. Yes.
So there's nothing between.
I find earnings very painful, to be honest with you, mate. So, but having said that, I'm excited about this earnings season because I feel, for some reason, I always feel like earnings come around so quickly. I almost forget like we've even finished the other ones. For some reason, it's probably because it's been a tough time in the book. I feel like it's been the longest period of time between when we've heard some real information from these companies.
Yep.
And we might be able to focus back on some fundamentals for a bit. Plus, we have the Fed. Plus, we've got the Bank of Japan. There's a lot going on.
And Piers, it's you that puts the fun in fundamentals.
Amen.
Or is it the mental?
Fund manager.
We just have to give you the poll results there. The poll results on
I
Bitcoin.
don't care. 25%. Love that.
What is
Digital
Bitcoin?
gold? 14%. Guys, look at gold. Look at Bitcoin. It is not digital gold. The future of currency. See, no one's got a clue. That's what that says. 21st century Ponzi scheme. Bingo.
Wow, you haters. There's a lot of haters out there on Bitcoin. Interesting.
Love you guys. Sense smart people.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Peace.